Hello, all. I started to go through that assignment number 5 that you guys were having a hard time with, and I just figured might as well record it, and you guys can kind of see as I work through what we have to do. Maybe it'll help you guys with some, do some stuff. Anyway, so the first thing that we do have to do is we have to make sure that these 3 libraries are active. So you can come over here and type R curl and see I've got my check mark, so I'm good. And then I need the R JSON right there. It is checked, so it is good. And I can do my SQL data frame right there, and it is checked, so it is good. So I have the 3 libraries that I need in order to do this project. Now, step 1 is to load the data. Now, I had put in the announcement that the lovely state of Maryland moved our data on me, and I apologize for that, but it is at opendata.maryland.gov, not data.maryland.gov. Okay, so my sincerest apologies for that. Last time I ran this exercise, it worked fine. I went to the website last night, or the night before I posted the announcement, and there's a lovely message there saying, we've moved our data. So I've updated the assignment for next time, so I apologize, and thank you guys for your patience with all of this. So the first thing we're going to do is convert that JSON to an R object. Okay, I'm calling it my data, and in it I'm storing from the JSON the data set, simplify true, null value equals NA. Okay, now if I run a summary of that data, I'm going to highlight everything and click a run. Okay, I get a length, a class, there's metadata, there's regular data, stuff like that, okay? Over here, my data popped up. It basically says there's a lot of data. It's a large list, okay? So let's move on to step 2, which says after you load the data, remove the first 8 columns, and then to make it easier to work with, name the columns as follows. So and then it gives you a whole list of things to do. So let's go step by step. Step 2, that's not a hashtag, is it? Oh, there we go. Step 2, clean the data. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is let's get rid of the metadata. And so the first column is going to be considered metadata. So let's do my list and store in it my data. And we're going to give it column 2. Or the second element, sorry. Okay. Now let's do a count and see how many rows are in there. Okay, so let's store in there the length of my list. Now some of this is just for me to kind of see what I'm working with, more so that it's, a required in order to do the actual homework problem. So let's go over here. My data, my list data, number of rows. So here I've got this, I've got a ton of rows, right? So as long as this doesn't say NA, okay, if that said NA, then my data would be not correct, right? So we're going to test the elements one by one. Okay, so first what we're going to do is we're going to put the element into a temporary variable. Okay. Secondly, if it is a null value, we're going to assign an NA to it to keep track of the nulls, okay? So if it is not a null, we're going to keep the original value. Hopefully that makes sense. Then we're going to reassign the value of that record back into the list, okay? So we're going in the list, we're checking the element. If there's a value, we're keeping it. If there's not a value, we're putting an NA. Okay, so we're doing a few different things here to clean it up. So I am going to, okay. Record. So if my record is null, I'm giving it an NA. Okay. This is, again, not a necessary step, but it will help with what's going on. So I can highlight that, click on Run. Oops, it's numRow, isn't it? There we go. Okay. So now that kind of took out all those NAs. Okay. Now we're going to transfer that list into a data frame. Okay. And the number of rows is going to be that numRows. So data frame. Okay. What we're going to send it is my list. numRows, except it's numRow because I can't type. By row. And this actually should say row. Number of rows equals numRow. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. Strings as factors equals false. Okay. That's going to put it in the data frame. Okay, so let's highlight that line. Let's run that one line. So now we've got a data frame here. Okay. Once we have the data frame, we can name the columns. Oh, I'm sorry. We're going to remove the first 8. Sorry. I forgot to do that step. Okay, so data frame, store, data frame, and remember we don't want to touch the rows, so it's going to be just blank. -1, -8, right? That's going to delete rows 1 through 8. Okay, and then let's rename. Now we can rename them. I am going to cut and paste, actually, out of the assignment. Okay, so names of columns. Okay, so, but what I'm going to do, instead of that, I'm going to do column names of the data frame. Okay, and I'm going to store in case number. Okay. And that should, let me run those 2 lines. And that line's very, very long. There we go. Let's go to step 3, understanding the data using SQL. So answering the following questions. How many accidents happen on Sunday? So let me go ahead and put my hashtag step 3, hashtag number of accidents on Sunday. And what else? I'm going to go ahead and put all of my prompts here. Accidents, number of accidents with injuries, and list injuries by day. Okay. So if I look through those column titles that I have, actually what I could do right here, down here, I'm going to display my data frame. Okay. If I go up to the top, I've got, okay, you can see here what it did is it put the first however many columns it can hold, and then it kind of like wrapped around, okay? So case number, Barrick, date, time, day of the week, okay? That's going to be helpful for this. The road it was on, the intersection road, the distance from the intersection, distance direction, city name, county code, county name, vehicle count, property destruction, I believe is what that is, injury, collision with 1, collision with 2, okay? So that's kind of what your data is looking like. What I want to do is, so how many accidents happen on a Sunday? Let's use that SQL via the SQL data frame. So Sunday accidents, in it we're going to store SQL data frame, okay? What we want to do is create the SQL statement. So select, what do we want? Select account of day of week. Okay. Select account of the day of the week as, so from data frame where, let's see, where, how many accidents happen on Sunday? So from data frame where day of week is Sunday. Okay. I've got something wonky with my, oh, there we go. Okay. This one I need to do single quotes. And this one doesn't need quotes at all. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and print out the Sunday accidents. Okay. So let's see. Let's go ahead and run that. Run. Count day of the week. 1, 0. That didn't work. Okay, let's see. Where? Let's make sure that that column has just the word Sunday. Let's see if that works better. Run. There we go. 2,373. Okay. I'll go ahead and save that. Number of accidents with injuries. Okay, so I'm actually going to copy that because I've got a lot of my SQL. So I'm going to change this to injury accidents, and I'm going to place that there. Okay. So we're going to select count of injury, right? I believe is the column injury. Okay. From data frame where injury is yes. Okay. Let's run that one. Okay, 6,433. Okay. So list of injuries by day. So what we want to do is count up how many injuries on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and that's what we want to put. So I'm actually going to put this back. I'm going to go ahead and kind of start with that as my injuries by day. And then I know I want to print that, so let's go ahead and do that. So select, our SQL statement is going to be quite different here though. Day of week. Okay, count case number. Okay, we're just going to count a random case number. But we want to save what that case number is as something, okay? As total number. From the data frame where injury is yes. Okay. Now, what we want to do, though, is we want to sort it on the day of the week. So let's do that group by. And if you're not familiar with the SQL of this, that's fine. And I apologize. That's not really part of this class, but that's fine. That's why I kind of gave you guys all a grain of salt with that day of week. That's not a parenthesis. There we go. Okay, day of week, and then print that out. So let's go ahead and run that. Okay, so what that's doing is select the day of the week and counting the case numbers, and it's giving it as a total number, okay? So you want a list of things plus a value, okay, from the data frame where the injury, remember we use that trim to get rid of that white space around it, is yes, and we want it organized by the day of the week. So we've got Friday, Monday, Saturday, Sunday, and actually it's in alphabetical order, so it's kind of jacked up, but anyway, we're good. Okay, here is your number by the day of the week, okay? Oops, that's not the one I want. I wanted this one up here, y'all. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. There we go. Save. Okay, let's get ready. We're going to say step 4 and understand the data using tapply. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start and put my holders in my code. So number accidents on Sunday. And again, I believe these are the 3 same prompts as using the SQL data frame, but we're just using a different method of getting them, okay? So number of accidents with injuries, and then list of injuries by day. Okay? So first thing, how many, oh, that's not the word accidents, is it? D-E-E-N-T-S. There we go. Beautiful. Words hard. That's why I program. Okay. Now, what we want to do with this is we do want to remove all of that. We don't have the luxury of using the trim, so we want to use that G sub to get rid of all of the junk around our data, okay? So data frame, day of week. Okay, in it we're storing a G sub of, and what we want is we want any spaces to be nothing, right? And we want it to be day of week. Okay. That's going to get rid of all the junk. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that run. Okay. Yeah, can't really see anything because you're just taking away spaces, so that could be a problem. Now, let's use our tapply. Oops. There we go. Okay, to the data frame of day of, oops. Its struggle of me is being real. Okay. Data frame, I want where the day of week equals Sunday. Okay. Length. Okay. Let's go ahead and run that one line. Maybe, if I can get it. There we go. Run. Okay. So what that's doing is it's giving you a true and false. So the number where the injuries should be 2373, where it's true, it's 2373. Okay. So it gives it to you in a slightly different format, but it's giving you the same information. Okay, so let's number of accidents with injuries. So tapply your data frame injury. Okay, data frame injury equals yes. Oops, there we go. Oops. I say whoops a lot, don't I? I do say whoops a lot when I code. Okay, you're true. 6433. 6433. It's same as what we got in step 3, okay? Now, list of injuries per day, okay? So let's use the tapply. Okay, what we want is injury, data frame, day of week, Okay, length. Oops. There we go. Sometimes the autocorrect, I have like a love-hate relationship with it. Sometimes I love it, sometimes I hate it. It's fine. There we go. Friday, Monday, and we're getting the same data that we got before, I believe. Okay, so figured it out. So what it was giving me to begin with was just the falses, and I actually need the trues. So I was able to go back in and I added another line in here, and in the data frame, I stripped out all of the falses for injury and I left just the trues. Then I did the exact same command I did before. When you run it, you can see now our numbers are lining up and matching correctly. Okay. That was the biggest issue I had going through this. It just wasn't doing what I had wanted it to. Um, so, but since that was the last command that we had, I had no problem in, you know, manipulating our data frame purposefully. Um, so hopefully this little tutorial has kind of helped you. I'm going to try and put this code that I have up on the announcements along with the link for this video so you guys can take a look at it if you'd like. So thanks. Happy coding.